Let's just get into it because Blast has finally shown up. It's not a flashback, it's not somebody thinking about him, it's not some ambiguous image. This is literally Blast for the first time ever. And I mean like ever. Not even in the webcomic has this happened. This is all completely new stuff. We still have yet to see Blast even real time in the webcomic. This is like it. This is finally the Blast reveal. But first and foremost, let me just say that I'm wrong about Blast being the breeder worker. That is not the case. I will make an entire video dedicated to how wrong I am about that, so you can roast me in the comments there. But for now, we need to discuss this chapter, or at least this one aspect of it. So picking up the previous chapter, we see Saitama, Flashy Flash, and Minako like trying to look into the hole that was made from Tatsumaki pulling the spear out of the ground. And from the audience perspective, we could see God was inside of that hole, but it appears that they're not able to see that. And I kind of speculated that that would probably be the case, but they do hear God. God straight up talks to all three of them in this chapter when he's like 3 visitors at the same time. How unusual. And then we're getting some major exposition from God when he's like, let me see if you are worthy vessels to bestow my power upon. Place your hand on that box and make a fervent wish. If you are worthy, you shall gain power from it. But if not, you will face confiscation. Okay, so now we have a better understanding of what's going on with this box. It's kind of like a wish box slash Mjolnir type thing, I guess. And it also makes sense because we know that God can give powers to people. He gave them to Homeless Emperor. But another interesting thing is that, Homeless Emperor didn't come across the box or touch it. God just took it upon himself to come to Homeless Emperor and then gave him powers. So that's odd, but I'm sure that will be expanded upon more, considering Homeless Emperor is still around, and he's gonna have a lot more to say and do. But if that wasn't mind-blowing enough, the true mind removal moment happens when like a black hole singularity event horizon thing opens up behind them. And then wouldn't you know, it is Blast that comes through this thing. But of course, there's a few differences here, and of course he has aged, which makes sense. And there's a few finer details here that makes more sense for future events that are going to happen in the story, but I don't want to talk about them now because I don't really do spoilers in these manga reviews because not everybody has read the webcomic, so I'll just make another video dedicated to like the nuanced portion of Blast's appearance here. But without going into spoilers, we could just point out that he has some battle damage to his armor here, and he has a scar across his face, which is very reminiscent to the scar that Garo got from Royal Ripper. But then anyway, Blast is like, you haven't accepted the deal yet, right? So Blast knows what's going on with this cube. I mean, we saw in the flashback with Tatsumaki, like we've talked about ad nauseum at this point, that he's had the cube before, so yeah, he definitely knows what's going on here. And then he starts spinning it on his finger like a globetrotter, which, further confirms that he has ridiculous levels of physical strength. And then he drops some major exposition when he's like, so you guys touched it without knowing, huh? This cube is kind of like a transmitter. Touching it distorts space and allows for communication with him. And I've been going around picking up these things since they're scattered all over as a hobby of mine. So that confirms a few things here. First of all, there are multiple cubes, as many of us have speculated. It kind of made sense that there was, considering that Blast had one in the Tatsumaki flashback, and given that there was one on the Ark of the Covenant, which is probably the one that they have right here, that fell on Flashy Flash's hand, but also the confirmation that the cube is definitely a way of talking to God. But speaking of God, he chimes in again, and he's like, Blast, you're Blast, aren't you? So unfortunately, it doesn't go any further than this, but God knows who Blast is, enough to like remember his name and call him by name. And again, this makes sense because 18 years ago, Blast had the cube and he's going around getting these cubes. So, it's understandable that they're familiar with each other at this point. But then after that, Blast opens up like another wormhole, black hole thing and sends the cube there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is more insight into Blast's abilities, which may or may not be Esper related. I don't know. I might have to make another video dedicated to just speculating about Blast, but at the minimum, he clearly has some wormhole, black hole abilities because he's going to do it later on as well. But after Saitama and Flashy Flash hear God call him Blast, Flashy Flash like recognizes Blast. Oh, you're Blast? Because, Flashy Flash is an S-class hero, so it makes sense he would know who Blast is. But on the flip side, Blast also knows who Flashy Flash is and even says what his rank is. This also makes sense because, they're S-class heroes, and even Blast, I'm sure, is aware of who his colleagues are. And Blast is like, what are you guys doing down here? And then Flashy Flash, I like to know the same thing. And then the crazy ninja part of Flashy Flash's mind goes off, and he's like, well, if he is Blast, then I should test him, you know, similar to his encounter with Saitama. Then he goes just straight maximum speed. It says it, so we don't have to speculate here, into the flashy kick at Blast. And Blast just suns him here. We throw that word around a lot. This character sunned that character. No, this is a sunning. This is almost like a one-for-one recreation of how Hellfire and Gale sunned Sonic. So yeah, this further confirms that Blast is truly outrageous. Because from the Globetrotter Cube thing, that's like, okay, crazy strength. But the fact that he does this to Flashy Flash of all people, who's like one of the 5 fastest characters in the series easily, this just confirms that Blast is at a whole nother level of speed compared to this character. That's blowing my mind. But anyway, then Blast's like, time's flowing slower in this space than outside. We should get out of here quick. I'll take you to the surface. So yeah, I guess this means that where we saw God, they're in a similar place to that or something like that. And then Saitama talking to Blast is like, there's an exit? You warped in or something, right? And then Blast is like, yeah, sorta. So yeah, Blast has some kind of insane warping abilities. But another little interesting thing here is the way that Blast reacts to Monaka. He's like, why is there a monster with you? It does not seem like you're prisoner. And Saitama's like, oh yeah, she's our tour guide and a flashlight. She's super useful. And Blast is like, oh, well, all right. So it's understandable that Blast is anti-monster. He is a hero after all, and it's not like everybody has the same perspective on monsters the way that Saitama does. Pretty sure Saitama sees monsters in the light of like, you know, innocent until proven guilty. But as we're almost all other heroes are probably the opposite. But then Blast's suit starts powering up and kind of looks like Doctor Strange's portal magic stuff. And he says, we'll be saying goodbye for now, but I'm sure we'll meet again. Then like he pounds his fist together and creates like the infinity sign with like, I don't know, some kind of energy possibly, and then creates another wormhole and they all go inside of it. But before that, he says, send my regards to Sitch and Tatsumaki. So this is another huge confirmation. I've been speculating for so long now that Sitch is one of the very few people in the Hero Association that knows Blast and has talked to him. And this is it. This is the confirmation here. And that's mainly because of what he said in chapter 85 when he was like, you know, if Earth is truly in danger, then Blast will come out. Yeah, I'm paraphrasing, but you know what he says. So that's pretty cool. And also he gives a little shout out to Tatsumaki. We already know their relationship. Too much to talk about in this video. I'm gonna have to make multiple ones because I would just start rambling here. But let me know what you think about Blast and the future of the series in the comments, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.